Welcome to Coach, a global community for coaching mastery.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Coach Global Community for Coaching Mastery podcast. As you know, in this podcast, we dive into what it takes to coach with mastery. I'm super excited to have as a guest today one of Coach Global Community for Coaching Mastery founding members, Nastassia Matsulevich. And Nastassia is the kind of coach that has this unique blend between coaching skills and her professional skills. So Nastassia is a coactive coach and she coaches entrepreneurs and business owners. At the same time, she's also the managing partner of Evolve Digital Services. So that's a very interesting and unique blend. Now, Nastassia, I'm curious. Welcome, first of all, welcome to the show. And may I ask you to introduce yourself in your own words?
All right, sure. Thank you, Leo, for such a warm introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Nastassia. I'm a coactive coach for business owners and entrepreneurs, and I'm also a marketing specialist. So I coach people in the field of advertising. That means whoever works in marketing, PR, advertising, and all things creative, because marketing is my love language.
That is such an interesting mix. And you know, Anastasia, when you say marketing is my love language, as a professional coach myself, as being the co-founder of Coach, I know that for many of us coaches, marketing is not necessarily a love language. If anything, we shy away from it. So I'm curious, what made you switch, or did you fully switch from your main activity to coaching? What is that like to be both?
So I thought I fully switched, which is in reality I didn't. So you cannot really throw any other expertise you had before starting coaching. So how I came to coaching, I essentially was doing marketing for more than 5 years here in UAE. I'm based in Abu Dhabi, and now looking back, I realized that I think I was craving more some sort of value-based selling and value-based businesses and business approaches. This is where you sell and advertise services based on human values, not just the idea of, like, let's make business and let's sell. So that sort of feeling, I think, led to a specific burnout in the creative field, and also the longing for a deep, deep human connection. I love communications. I've always loved communicating with clients in our agency, with the audiences online and offline, and that sort of bond of communicating when like you're speaking the same language with the customers, with the audience, with the people online and offline is just really valuable.
Hmm. So I'm curious, you have a rich toolkit of coaching skills right now. How
Yeah.
do these tools help you be a better person and a better business owner?
Oh, big time. I honestly set all of my communications in very like clear and transparent ways. I design alliances with my projects, with my clients, with people I work with, and I really bring values. I really bring values. I want to know, I want to hear what's important for people on the other side of the project, of the business, of the company. I bring values into, like how we're going to position ourselves and like what are we working on here. And of course, powerful questions. What do we want? What will be the best way to achieve that and all that? So it's crazy if you think about it, how coaching can like seamlessly blend into almost any activity that you do. And I like the mix of two because, like I market myself as a coach, I find my clients, I bring coaching back into the marketing, working on, personal brand strategies, marketing strategies, and all that.
Hmm. So,
Yeah.
Anastasia, you are a coach, so you're a practicing coach, and you are a business owner. How do you find time for both, and how do you manage to do both at the same time? Or is it both, either or? What's it like?
Um, I'll say sometimes it flows. It really flows. The best way to describe it is like it flows. Sometimes you do more of coaching. Like this year, I dedicated solely Mostly most of my time to coaching, to develop my client base, to develop myself as a coach, to discover myself as a coach as well, to find my own values, branding, philosophy, and all that. Um, but yeah, it really flows. Sometimes you find a project, you work on that in marketing, then you find out that you want to coach this client, or this client wants to be coached by you, and sometimes they coexist together. But I guess like very cliche, but for doing things you love, you really find time. The time is there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so true, so true. And for things you love, you always find time. And the biggest excuse I hear from people, I don't have time.
Yeah, we all have time. It's just we choose not to spend time on certain things or like not to develop ourselves in certain areas, but we all have time.
Mm, very, I love that so much. And Anastasia, so I'm curious, your clients, what are the biggest challenges that they're facing right now? Specific group of clients that you're coaching?
Well, if we talk about entrepreneurs and business owners, there's always a dip in entrepreneurs' life, whether it's a seasonal dip, whether it's a creative dip, whether it's a dip where they're not sure what's their next move. And sadly, a lot of things about, self-confidence. What am I going to sell? Who's going to buy it? What if people don't need it? What if I fail? So, um, it pains my heart to see a lot of insanely creative people, insanely talented people having these constant doubts about, their own value, their confidence, and um, the sort of like unique approach of a product, service they want to bring out to this world. So mostly it's that. But also discipline, like they want to do things, but then like life happens. And here I think we as coaches step in really brilliantly because we're like, okay, you want to do this? How are we going to do this? What is the first step? When? How? Like, what's the deadline? When are you going to call me? I want to see that. And in this way, I think I'm a very like pushy coach and
Yeah,
straightforward. Like I don't let my clients lie.
yeah. Ah, I love that. And accountability, I hear, is a big thing. And many people are really struggling with that.
Yeah,
Accountability.
it's not familiar to them because they're really used to talking about things and not doing them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And this disconnect between I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing.
Yeah, that's like first step, that is so important.
Yeah. What is how do you help your clients bridge that gap?
Um, well, the easiest way is to say to them, like, are we having a nice conversation or are we going to do something about that? And that really hits because like they can have a nice conversation with a friend, with a person online, with themselves. They can write in the diary. This is what people love to do. What I'm going to do? I'm going to write in a diary 10 things that I want to do. No, let's do it. Let's just do it. Ditch the diary. Let's go into the world and like make that first mistake or make that first move, but let's actually do it. Yeah.
That is, I love that from ditch the diary, let's go and do it.
Yeah.
That alone is so powerful. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Um, maybe it comes from the fact that I never loved diaries myself. Um, but I feel that it's like a sort of when I have nothing against diaries or like gratitude practices or like writing in general, but I think it's still in the bubble of the client's mind, where they have this thought process, they have this like longing for something. When they do it on paper, it's an extension of this process, but it's still a bubble. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And as like there's like a TikTok song, like they're gonna know. They're not going to know. They're not going to know until you like really step out in your community, at your work, anywhere where you're surrounded by other people and you sort of like declare something that you want to do. you show something that you want to do, you make that first step, nobody's going to know, and it will be just on paper. You fold your
Yeah.
diary somewhere near your bedside. That's the end of the story. How many probably great ideas are in the graveyard of diaries, myself even included? Gosh, so many ideas.
Yeah. It's so interesting, the graveyard of ideas.
Yeah.
What came up is that the graveyard of ideas generates a lot of regret.
Um, yes and no. Um, like it gives me an image of like a small bubble out there. Maybe the bubble wasn't meant for you at the time. The time wasn't right, but it's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But there is a certain regret. Yeah, I agree.
Mm. So it sounds like you're a big action taker.
I am, yeah.
Yeah. What is one big, scary, terrifying action that you took in your own life or maybe coaching that paid off big time?
Paid off big time. I would say I'm usually like a steady action taker. However, this year I've did a story on my life on with CNN people that was like scary. That was big because like that essentially took me to come out on television camera, do several days of full production, focused solely on me. And I wasn't that used to, you know, showing myself as the main character. Yeah. So saying yes to that, that was a big action.
Mm. Just curious, what was your biggest learning or takeaway from, taking that scary step?
Maybe for some people that wouldn't be scary, but like it all really depends, and we are all very unique in our all own feelings and attitudes towards something. But that sort of like really fortified for me um, the importance of our personal stories. Like the importance of the way we live our lives, of our own journeys. The It made me look back on my journey in the Emirates so profoundly. I was like shocked. And that like marked my 7 year mark living here, living abroad, and like um sort of review everything like I've achieved, I've not achieved, where I am now, planning for the future. So yeah, that was sort of like unconscious uh point where you like look back on everything, realize where are you now, and look ahead a bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is true that being aware and being in charge of your personal story gives you tremendous empowerment, true empowerment.
Yeah, and it also takes a lot to step into the shoes and say like, well, yeah, I'm doing a story about me. It's going to run on like CNN. This is me. Behold the world. Yeah.
Yeah. And personal stories is, I noticed from my own experience, I don't know if you agree, many people struggle with stepping into the main character,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even myself included, really.
their own life. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is why I always say to my clients in coaching and in marketing everywhere, we're all the same. I love the way we're all the same and very unique at the same time because we all have our degree of imposter syndrome. Oh, what I'm going to tell about, like my life is not so interesting, like someone else's life is way more interesting. They might choose them and stuff like that. But no, we're so valuable in our own skin. We're so enough. We all deserve that kind of attention. We all deserve to tell our stories. We all have a lot of self-worth.
Hmm. We are so enough. That sounded brilliantly.
Yeah. That's my approach to everything. Like you are enough as you are.
Hmm. Yeah, that is so, so powerful.
With coaching, we can amplify it like 100. It's 100. Don't get me wrong. But like you're enough. And when you act and do and make choices out of you're enough, it's way easier. It's way smoother, you know, like there's more freedom in that. Like I don't have to do that unless I want that. I don't have to be this or that or to go there unless I want it because I'm already enough here.
Mm. Wow. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm curious, Nastasia, not feeling enough, is this something that your clients struggle with? What is some, let's say, 1, 2, 3 challenges that your clients are facing that they say, wow, Nastasia, I need to go and see her.
Yeah, well, see, the fact that I work with entrepreneurs and lots of creatives, especially in the field of, like advertising and marketing, the clients often think that they need to get to a certain point to start something. Like, okay, I need to, I don't know, revamp my Instagram before I really announce that I'm launching something or selling something, or I need to go and do a few courses before I really start and do something. Like, how many yoga teachers think that they need to spend like a few years doing the courses, practicing before they actually teach one class. One class of like 30 to 60 minutes. Fellow coaches, like I've been in the shoes of like starting coaches, like I need to get my certification, I need to finish the program before I really start. No, you can start today.
Mm.
And I've been both like a yoga teacher in the past and I'm a coach now. You need to start now. Like there's no tomorrow. Like live the life as if there's no tomorrow, really.
There's this little voice that tells me that I'm not ready. How should I overcome it?
Yeah,
How can
that's
I
okay.
overcome it?
These are all the limiting beliefs that really jump into your face as soon as you want to do something big, as soon as you want to do something meaningful, they're like, no, no, don't move.
And I'm
Yeah,
curious, if I were your client and I say, I want to make a change. I want to
yeah,
start something new, but I have all these guys sitting on my shoulders. What
yeah,
would coaching feel like or be like with you? I'm coming, I'm swamped with all the
yeah, yeah.
limitations.
It usually really goes with intuition based on the client. Sometimes I will be really soft and holding. Let's look what's there. Let's cry the tears that are there connected with some fears of, like maybe you're not enough, maybe someone hurt you in the past, anything, or we just bust the ass of this of this fear because we don't have time to see it. If we want to see it, okay, we will see for how many years we're going to see it till we retire. No, 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 no. Let's just put it in the closet. Let's put it under the table. Um, it might not go away forever, but the fire here is stronger,
Yeah.
and we move with the fire.
Mm. What does so I'm curious, what does this fire mean to you? What is your fire like? What is this drive? Because I'm sensing you have so much passion for life and so much excitement. What is this fire for you?
I think this fire for me is ultimately live every day of your life doing the things that makes your heart full. And it's not necessarily the job, also, although like a job is a part of that, but like living your life to 100%, whatever that 100% means on a given day. Sometimes it's staying in bed watching TikToks. Sometimes it's like working like 10 to 12 hours straight. Sometimes it's just like caring about the body, doing sports, cooking, meeting friends. Sometimes it's a mix of everything. But really making those choices that feel resonant, that don't create any sort of like fog of like, why am I doing this? Is this for me? Is this not for me? So that also like confidence, that like energy that just like pulls you from the back.
Mm. Nastasia, what motivates you?
What motivates me? Um, I'd say people motivate me. Nature motivate me. I have a very big connection with nature. Um, Music motivates me. It gives me like lots of energy. Um, Seeing other people thrive also, it just like wow.
Mm.
It makes me glow seeing other people win, other people create something, and like it's also a sense of belonging when you're in that field of other people that each and everyone creates something for the world and they stand by it.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I stand by my things as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The beautiful things. And, if we take a sharp turn here, we're talking about coaching, and this obviously is a podcast about coaching and professional coaching in general. What are some biggest challenges or misconceptions that you faced around coaching? What people don't get it or don't understand, maybe are not educated enough on the topic of coaching.
Mm. Everything. Yeah, I would say most of the people that I meet and the people that I coach, they're still not very familiar with the whole concept. Um, they have an idea or two. A lot of them mix it up with therapy or, like psychological helpers, psychological consultants. Um, the other half mixes it up with the consultants, like people who give you advice, who give you like a roadmap, who essentially come and give you the answers to everything. So that's sort of like um, interesting niche of coaches who are not the advisors, not the therapists. What do they do essentially? And oh, why does it feel so good? So yeah, the misconceptions, yeah, mostly like how does it work? How does the session go? Like what do we do? Also, I think it's very unfamiliar for them to, they have a certain direction that they work on, and then they come for the session, and we essentially work on something completely different because it shows up. Like you want to work on, let's say, your career position at the moment and like which direction you want to go. And then suddenly you talk about family, you talk about fears, you talk about, mm, maybe your body, how you're tired, how your health demands attention and stuff like that. And it's like, gosh, where's the connection?
Mm.
Like there's almost like no logic whatsoever. There's like no direct line. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all very puzzling. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we were to say, let's say if your clients are listening or anybody interested in going into coaching and say, yeah, but what is coaching? And why is it that, I want to talk about my career and we end up talking, how is this relevant? What would be a simple answer to that?
I would say to that, like coaching is your unique journey. It's really the synergy between you and the coach, and like sort of like what shows up in your work.
Mm. Yeah.
You're definitely going to get a value out of this. You're definitely going to find your direction in on your topic of like big topic of coaching, things that you want to achieve. But on the way, they might be very, very different things, and you have to be ready for them. You have to trust yourself and the coach that, well, this is the moment for you to work on that.
Yeah. It's trusting that the work that is coming is the work that needs to be done. But
Yes, exactly.
right, we it's so much easier as a client, and I've been a client, right? It's so much easier to hide behind problems. So what I'm feeling is that the reason why people come with problems because problems don't involve me feeling. Oh, I'm just going to solve this problem, and we're just not going to go on how I feel in my life because feeling feelings is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good way to say that. But I also know, and I think you would agree with me that when you work with a powerful coach, you will feel things. You will feel things big time,
Coaching
100%.
makes you feel.
Yeah, coaching makes you feel, coaching makes you do, coaching makes you really like stand up and be there for yourself.
Yeah, big time, big time. Um, Nastasia, if you were to have a message, somebody's on the, let's say, curious about coaching, want to
Yeah.
try, not sure, just on the fence. What is a message that you'd have for them? They're not sure. They're afraid of feel the feelings. They are unclear of what coaching is, but they are fed up. They are ready for a change. They want to make that change. What is a message that you'd have for them?
Mm. Well, here my marketing self like jumps in. I would like have like very different messages for different groups of people. Um, but in general, if you know that the fire is not there, if you feel something is missing in your life, or like you don't feel really good in your body, you know something is wrong. You might not pay attention there, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
Whether it's like in relationship, at work, again, in your body, in your thoughts. When something is not working 100%, it makes sense to talk to a coach.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
But
is.
also 100 different messages. Because like the
Uh-huh.
way we click to things is so different. The way I click as a person to a message or to things, sometimes you see something and it's like, oh, this is so me. This is so me. So yeah, we all have very different wires to that. But the underneath feeling is this one when when your train is sideways, when it's not going full speed, when it feels rusty and all things like that. When you don't know your destination basically. Where is your train going?
Yeah. You need to know where your train is going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going nowhere.
Yeah. Or like what is this journey about?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are very, very powerful questions, and that we run away from. We run away by being busy. We run
Yeah.
away by focusing on what it should be, focusing on having all kinds of addictions, shopping, working, exercising, you name it, even healthy ones, instead of actually sitting down with a professional and feeling the feelings. What do you think?
Yeah, all of those substitutes, you're absolutely right. It's
Mm.
so easy to notice when people are just throwing themselves into certain activities.
Mhm.
Yeah. And speaking back in the metaphor of trains and a bit of physics, although like I'm not a physicist like or whatever, you're running against the train movement and you sort of like create the negative energy. You're just wasting your energy running against the flow of train.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. And Nastasia, um, what is it like to be a professional coach? Now you are a professional coach, you are combining your marketing activity with your coaching activity. What is your experience as being a professional coach?
Hmm. I would say that, like the biggest thing I feel when you're stepping into this like very professional stage of you being a coach is that um all of your skills, all of your abilities and things and how you show up becomes so seamless, it almost seems easy, which is not,
Yeah.
because like if, with the session, like, oh, it's just a conversation, but why a person feels so good? Why do they achieve something like from one session, from a 30-minute session, from just one simple conversation? How does it work that, the way you talk or put your message out there on the website or on your socials hits the spot of the person to book the call
Yeah.
and all that. It's like it's so subtle, so seamless. It almost seems easy, like, maybe everyone can do it, but no.
Takes so much, so much. A coaching session is just the tip of the iceberg, but the
Yeah.
amount of time, effort, work, personal growth, skill acquisition that goes into professional and with underlining the professional a professional coach goes through is just immense.
And the amount of expertise and skills and practice that go into developing that way of listening and picking up on things that you say as a client, of how to ask those powerful questions, of how to really see behind words
Mm.
and arrive at a certain point during the session. It's just crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And that's
baffles me.
and that is
I'm shocked.
truly, I'm sorry.
It shocks myself even. Like it shocks me.
And that is the power of coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Nastasia, as we closing towards the end of our interview, is there any question that you would have liked me to ask you?
A question. I don't know. Let me think. I have something around, like what the world will be like with no coaching, or, like what would be the thing that we can do, like if there was no coaching. I don't know. Let's go create something from it.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love where you're going. So, let's imagine there are no coaches at all,
Yeah,
and people don't have a space or a person where they can externalize their feelings,
yeah,
sit with themselves with the help of the professional.
yeah.
What would this world look like?
Um, I somehow don't want to say, like it will be a gloomy world where nobody does anything and all that, because people are really so creative.
Let's make
So,
the opposite. Let's make the opposite. So let's say, what if coaching is recognized worldwide, just as any other profession? People would go to coaching as they go to a
yeah,
GP, general practitioner,
yeah,
ENT. The moment they notice something isn't right, they
yeah.
would instantly recognize it, be educated on, and go straight to a coach. What would that world look like?
The first thing that comes to my mind is like the world will be a much safer place, you know, like it will be just way safer than it is now. Um, because people will work on their stuff. People will have professional help and guidance on, like what's going on. People will be much more fulfilled. Um, and I'm also sensing there will be more freedom, not in a way that everyone will become productive. No, everyone will become entrepreneur. No, but there will be so much more freedom and enjoyment and fulfillment because we're all fulfilled in very different ways. For some people, it's just like family time. For some people, it's just doing some small crafts, photographing the birds, and all that. So I can see just like a very nice flow of life, like a very simple, nice flow of life,
Yeah.
like a big village where people do what they like, and other people can either interact with it or like buy from them or just like do their own stuff, be in their own bubble, but with so much joy. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love this, and it's a beautiful note to close this interview on, Nastasia. And just two things before I ask the last question: where is the best place for people to find you?
The best place for people to find me is on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok if they're looking for some recommendation to try things in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, but mostly my Instagram. It's Nastassia Matsu. That's me. But I'm everywhere.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Nastasia, last question is: what is the vision that you hold for yourself and for your coaching?
Oh, for myself and for my coaching, I hold a big vision. I want myself to shine. And again, whatever that means for me in a given year. You know, like this year, it meant for me really amplifying the coaching practice and coaching lots of people for a lot of hours, yeah, making my website, declaring to the world that I'm out there. Um, but really, really working with high passionate individuals, making my work count in whatever shape or form I feel like it, but like it's workshops, trainings, big speeches and conferences. I see all of that for me. And I know it will be there for me. And I know that in the same way that I see things to be there for me, I know that my clients can be anything that they want.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Nastasia, thank you so much for this very inspiring, very fiery conversation. I absolutely loved it. I've learned so much. Keep shining, keep inspiring, and thank you so much for being on this journey with me for the last hour.
Thank you so much, Leo. Thank you for creating this beautiful space to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you watching, thank you so much for spending this time with us. I hope you had plenty of insights from the very incredible Anastasia. Reach out to her. All of her links will be in the comments of this interview. And as if for you, keep well and see you next time.
This recording was offered to you by Coach, a global community for coaching mastery.